Hi, in this opportunity I will review the adventurous, biological, corporate, Mesozoic novel Jurassic Park by American writer Michael Crichton, originally published on November 20th, 1990. The version that I treasure is a Books A Million exclusive edition with a special hardcover featuring a unique scaly faux dinosaur skin textured cover and the iconic original chip kit T-Rex skeleton design with a spacious page design and fine letter molds. Michael Crichton's techno-thriller Jurassic Park transcends the boundaries of genre fiction, operating instead as a sophisticated philosophical critique of technocratic hubris, late capitalist commodification, and reductionist epistemology. The novel functions fundamentally as a warning. It interrogates the dangers of pursuing technological capability divorced from ethical foresight, utilizing the framework of chaos theory to expose the inherent fragility of human control systems. At the core of Crichton's narrative lies a scathing critique of reductionist science, the mechanistic paradigm that posits complex macroscopic systems can be fully understood, predicted, and manipulated merely by isolating and mastering their constituent microscopic parts. In the novel, InGen Corporation's geneticists operate under a hyper-positivist delusion by sequencing ancient DNA, filling gaps with amphibian genomes, and engineering viability. They believe they have achieved mastery over life itself. Crichton uses this premise to expose the perilous haughtiness of corporate science, the illusion of predictability. InGen designs closed-loop biological and computational architectures, assuming that zero-defect engineering guarantees systemic stability. The park's automated monitoring systems are programmed to count a fixed number of organisms, operating under the naive assumption that biological systems remain static. Genetic engineers artificially restrict population dynamics, such as engineering all animals to be female via triploid sterilization, while ignoring the dynamic self-organizing adaptability of organic life. Dr. Ian Malcolm serves as the novel's primary philosophical mouthpiece, introducing chaos theory, specially referring nonlinear dynamics and deterministic systems, to dismantle the optimism of John Hammond and his scientific staff. Malcolm's assertions challenge the Newtonian worldview that underpins modern industrial technology. Chaos theory sounds like mere serendipity. Life finds a way. The novel articulates it as a rigorous mathematical reality. Complex systems, such as an engineered insular ecosystem, possess a high sensitivity to initial conditions. Minor overlooked variables, such as native amphibian DNA, sequences capable of facilitating spontaneous sex reversal in an environment with fluctuating endocrine disruptors, inevitably trigger nonlinear feedback loops. Beyond its scientific critique, Jurassic Park serves as a profound interrogation of late capitalist political economy. Isla Nublar is not merely a zoological facility, it is a manifestation of corporate feudalism and hyper-commodified biopower. Not natural capitalism, but one taken to the extreme. Something that is not realistic in the story is the claim that Costa Rica has an army that bombs the island with its military equipment, which makes no sense because Costa Rica has not had an army from 1948 to the present 2026. John Hammond's enterprise epitomizes an impulse to transform historical and natural heritage into intellectual property and proprietary entertainment. Extinction itself is stripped of its temporal weight and repackaged as consumer adrenaline and amusement. InGen operates in a regulatory vacuum, evading sovereign oversight through jurisdictional arbitrage and corporate secrecy. Safety is treated as a line item, expenditure rather than an ethical imperative, outsourced to minimal, overworked staff, overseen by bureaucratic negligence, exemplified by Dennis Nedry's industrial espionage, which exposes the vulnerability of relying on disgruntled, underpaid labor in high-stakes cybernetic environments. The narrative underscores how the privatization of biological information creates systemic hazard. When life is patented, the imperative shifts from empirical observation and ecological safety to proprietary secrecy and shareholder yield, blinding the corporation to empirical anomalies until systemic collapse is irreversible. In traditional Gothic and horror literature, the monster represents an external moral corruption. In Jurassic Park, the dinosaurs are fundamentally amoral agents acting in accordance with evolutionary imperatives. They are not intrinsically malevolent. Rather, their monstrosity is an emergent property generated by human ecological illiteracy. Crichton meticulously contrasts the sanitized, corporate marketing of the dinosaurs with their brutal, unyielding biological reality. The animals do not conform to the docile, anthropomorphized expectations of park administrators. Instead, they function as apex predators and ecosystem engineers that relentlessly exploit structural flaws in human architecture. The failure of the park is the writer's demonstration that ecosystems are not collections of static exhibits, but hyper-dense webs of interdependent relationships that will always optimize for survival, bypassing artificial, ethical, and physical boundaries. Ultimately, Jurassic Park posits that human technological evolution has vastly outpaced our ethical maturity. Crichton's prose functions as a sustained argument against the Promethean myth that humanity can engineer a closed, error-free biosphere. InGen engineers its own decadence, leaving the reader with the sobering realization that nature cannot be mastered or controlled in absolutes. It must be appreciated for what it is.